Now, it's no surprise that President Trump loves Fox and Friends. This is his favorite show. And Fox and Friends, the people over at Fox News, they know this. And they cater to what is arguably their number one viewer, the President of the United States. So it shouldn't be surprising then that the President will occasionally call up Fox and Friends hosts for political advice. Now, I talked about this before. There's a whole Vanity Fair article about it, and I'll get into some of the details later. However, the newest example is when he decided to, during a meeting, by the way, with Veterans Affairs Secretary David Shulkin, he decided to call in to Fox and Friends to get their opinion. Now, according to Axios, Shulkin and Trump were discussing legislation to reform veterans' health care during an Oval Office meeting last week, when Trump had reportedly called Fox and Friends co-host Pete Hegseth to get his opinion. Now, that's very interesting. Shulkin, look, he's in a little bit of hot water. He favors a little bit more of a so-called moderate approach. Oh, let's have, like I said, so-called moderate approach, which is actually more of a centrist opinion, where, well, I mean, if veterans, they want to get their care somewhere else, then we should allow them to do so instead of go through the VA system. Now, look, I understand that position. I'm sympathetic towards that position because right now the VA is a mess. It's a disaster. It is failing our troops. It is failing our veterans. It's underfunded, I believe understaffed. Their record system needs to be updated massively. They have a huge caseload and not enough people to actually be able to take care of the veterans. Now, those are important issues, and we should actually do something about them. So I guess this temporary Band-Aid measure, not so bad, but remember that it is just a Band-Aid, and unfortunately, I believe would lead to more privatization of veterans' health care. And that is the big problem here. Now, Hegseth's position is just that. Let's privatize the VA. Now, Hegseth, they said, Axios writes, Hegseth is a veteran and former executive director of an advocacy group, Vets for Freedom. Now, he was also considered to be a VA secretary pick under Trump. Now, Trump, of course, watches Fox News a lot, and he loves a morning show. So he calls in to Hegseth and tries to get his opinion on what he should do for policy. Well, that seems to be a little bit of an issue when you are calling Fox News hosts to get opinions on policy. That is weird and unprecedented. That we've never had. Could you imagine? I know I've been throwing out a lot of these, but could you imagine if President Obama called up MSNBC and said, "Hey guys, Chris Matthews, what should we do? Rachel Maddow, what should I do about this specific policy? You got any suggestions?" No, of course not. Now look, there are times where I wish President Obama had actually listened to progressive news outlets and actually said, oh, turns out it seems like Medicare for all is pretty popular and Medicare works, and it looks like that most people don't want to cut Social Security, so don't put it on the table to make your grand bargain, which thankfully the Republicans were so greedy they didn't take. No, we don't want to just cut a little bit of Social Security, turn it to a CPI or a change CPI program. No, we want to completely eliminate Social Security. We want to privatize it, hand it over to our Wall Street friends. And even Obama's like, no, that's too far. No, remember, we're centrists. We're supposed to give you most of what you want, but you're supposed to give us something a little bit in return to maintain the status quo. Okay, anyway. So, look, this comes amid some tension in the White House between Shulkin and Trump. Shulkin says that Trump's political appointees in the agency, in the VA, are attempting to undermine him and claims that he has White House approval to remove them. Now, Shulkin is also in trouble after an Inspector General report found that he misused taxpayer money during a trip to Europe. Wonderful. So, look, Shulkin, not exactly a fantastic guy, not exactly the person that you would want running the VA, but neither is Hegseth. Right? That's definitely the guy that you don't want. But nonetheless, that is somebody, if Shulkin gets the boot, you could imagine that President Trump might go this way, and that could be very disastrous. Now, on the subject of Donald Trump calling in Fox News in order to get advice, now here's what Vanity Fair wrote, and this is after speaking with different anonymous employees at Fox News. One of them said, quote, "When you worked at Fox, you knew that at any moment Roger Ailes was watching. Every day was like a job interview with Ailes. Now it's the same way for Trump." Another Fox executive said, and this kind of points out the reason that he does this, "He has the same embattled view as a typical Fox News viewer, that the liberal elites hate me, they're trying to bring me down." Yes, there's a lot of hatred. Yes, I guess you could say that the media is trying to bring him down. Look, I'm not going to speak for CNN. I'm not going to speak for MSNBC or anything like that. I'm going to speak for myself. The reason that I want to bring Trump down, as he says, is because of his policies. They're abhorrent. Now, there is some populist policy. There's one policy that I was okay with that he did, and that was stopping TPP. That is the one thing I will give him credit for, even though there are reports of him bringing it back in sort of a different form, or attempting to bring it back in a different form. But look, right now, okay, credit. He stopped TPP. Wonderful. But he's done a whole lot of other horrific shit. Again, we've continued all the wars that we were in during the Obama administration, except now that under Trump, there are even more civilian casualties in these wars. We're bombing Yemen. We're bombing all these different countries, half of which most of Americans don't even know we're bombing. We're doing all sorts of heinous things when it comes, he's doing heinous things when it comes to the environment, regulation, business. Again, the tax cut that benefits, that 83% of the benefits go to the top 1%. And it doesn't create jobs, and is not helping people, live better by giving them bigger, better wages and things like that, and benefits. So, yeah, you want to oppose Trump on the issues. Well, that's what I'm doing here. So, but look, that's not why, that's not what actually Fox News gives to their viewers. No, it's because we hate them. It's because we hate conservatives. It's because we want to shut down their point of view. And that is clear projection. There's conservatives that want to shut down our point of view. Like, I'm fine with having conservatives. I'm fine with Fox News having conservative bias. Just admit it. Just be open about it. We're the propaganda arm of the Republican Party. And we're basically White House state TV. Now, and again, that quote on the typical Fox News viewer, that's because he is the typical Fox News viewer. He's incredibly old. He's wealthy, out of touch. No, not all Fox News viewers are wealthy, obviously, but the out of touch part, very important. And so, yeah, he is your typical Fox News viewer. Now, he's called in before, and here's a reaction on that. One former Fox anchor said what he usually does is he'll call in after a show and say, "I really enjoyed that. The highest compliment is, I really learned something. Then you know he got a new policy idea." And of course, how they actually feel about this. Well, one executive said, "He's sort of viewed as this crazy person who calls in all the time. It's freaky to see him tweeting at Fox and Friends. That doesn't help us. We're not state television." No, but you are. You have become state television. Again, you are catering to viewer number one. That is the most important person to the executives at Fox News. How do we make the president happy so he continues to promote us, so he continues to tweet at us? So that helps us make money. And it also helps us fulfill our core mission, is to be the propaganda arm of the Republican Party and to get Republican policies passed. And that includes, as I said, deregulation and more tax cuts for the rich. And so they're just continuing to cater to their audience. And their audience, Donald Trump, is now taking policy advice from them. It is Fox News' dream come true. If you had told Roger Ailes that this was going to happen when he was alive, that one day the president of the United States is going to call into Fox News and get policy advice, he'd probably be jumping for joy. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.